NFL fans, welcome back to a brand new episode of the JAYY All Day Sports Show. In today's episode, we're talking about the San Francisco 49ers. I know I'm rocking my Eagles jersey, but I got a rep for my Bird Gang. But today I want to do a full 7-round mock draft for the San Francisco 49ers. I also want to break down this roster and let you know where I think this team could go in the draft this year. The 49ers have an absolute shit ton of draft picks this year. It's absolutely wild. I also want to talk about free agents and really get a big picture on this 49ers team moving forward. Let's get into it. 49ers fans, if you could do me a huge favor and hit that like button, it really does help us get into the algorithm. And if you like my content, consider subscribing to the channel. Okay, the first thing I want to break down on this 49ers roster is the crazy amount of free agents, right? I think there's 22 unrestricted free agents. That's a buttload, right? Including Javon Hargrave, Charvarius Ward, Dre Greenlaw. It's a lot of very good players, man. There's no other way around it. Elijah Mitchell's on there. A bunch of offensive linemen. Not like huge stars, but enough where they need some serious depth there. Brandon Allen, Josh Dobbs, the quarterback. I mean, guys, a lot of free agents, man. An absolute ton. Dre Greenlaw is on there as well. Javon Hargraves, they're going to miss them on this defense. So, I think the 49ers are probably going to look to add depth to these positions, especially the big ones where they're losing a bunch of guys, considering the O-line losing 4 or 5 guys, the linebacker position, 2 backup quarterbacks, 4 cornerbacks. They got to add some depth, and luckily for the 49ers, they got a buttload of draft picks, right? They also got some cap space to address these positions in free agency, which is coming up in the next few weeks. Okay, $45 million underneath the cap. That gives them a lot of wiggle room to bring in some impact players for this roster. For me, when I broke down this roster, looking at it in totality, the position of needs for me, cornerback, safety, edge defender, D tackle especially. I think a guard and a tackle could behoove them as well, including the wide receiver position, because Deebo Samuel is shopping himself around for a potential trade. I don't think that's a huge deal for the 49ers, really, because I think Ricky Pearsall, Jawan Jennings, and Brandon Ayuk are a nice fit, but bringing in some youth that's not going to break the bank is probably a good idea. All right, guys, now let's get into the 7-round mock draft for your San Francisco 49ers. All right, 49ers, here we are with our 2025 NFL mock draft. If you take a look at the board right here, we have a ton of picks. A 1, a 2, a 3, 2 3s, 3 4s, a 6, and 3 7s. Maybe we package, some of these picks, maybe one of those 4s with the 7, go back a little bit to get a 5th round pick and some other picks maybe in another draft, right? They definitely have the ammo if they wanted to pair up a 4 and a 7 and a 3 to move up into the 2nd round to get an additional 2nd round pick. That's an option as well. I'm not going to do any trades today. I'm just going to give you guys every single one of their picks, what I would do if I was the GM of the San Francisco 49ers. Looking at how the board fell to them, guys that are available, Ashton Jeanty. Considering the injuries to Christian McCaffrey, that's not a terrible idea, but I think they got some depth there that's going to perform for them this year. Okay. So when I look at this roster, Will Johnson makes a lot of sense for me as well. I love Will Johnson. Considering in the NFC West, a lot of big-bodied wide receivers, Marvin Harrison Jr., DK Metcalf, and this guy is a monster, 6'2", 202 pounds. Injuries shortened his year this year. As you can see, he only played, 6 games, right? But very, very competent every single year. He's only given up 2 touchdowns over 3 years of playing. Didn't play a lot this year, of course, but he played 14 games in 2022 and 12 games last year. In 2024, he only played 6 games, but the numbers were still there. Solid run defender. Not great in man coverage, which definitely, scares me a little bit. The sample size is small, but it's still 6 games. It's not super small. For me, the guy I'm really, really focusing on right now is Walter Nolan, the interior defensive lineman from Ole Miss. If you take a look at his grades, he didn't have one bad game all year long, man. He had a couple games actually just one game in the low 60s, Very, very impressive stuff. And he had big games against big programs like Georgia. Very, very impressive stuff, guys. Excellent run defender. Can get after the passer as well, 25 hurries, 4 hits, 6 sacks, 7 sacks last year. He can also bat the ball down at the line of scrimmage, which is very important in today's NFL. If we take a first look, guys, 6'3", 305 pounds. He's not necessarily a monster of a D lineman, but I do think Kyle Shanahan and this team likes their defensive linemen to be able to move up and down the line of scrimmage. He could play inside. He could play outside at the D-end position. They can kind of rotate and fluctuate depending on matchups, right? That's why I just love Walter Nolan. I think he fits the 49ers' needs with Javon Hargraves leaving. It really leaves a huge hole in the middle of that defense, guys. 88.9 grade, extremely, extremely impressive. And he's super consistent, guys. Run stop rate, almost 12%. Pass rush win rate, almost 11%. True pass set pass rush grade in the 80s. Extremely impressive. I think Walter Nolan is a great pick at number 11 for the 49ers. Now, we're picking in the second round. 43 overall. This is how the board fell to us. I do love Trey Amos, the cornerback from Mississippi. I definitely think he's in play. Landon Jackson, Shamar Turner, definitely in play as well. I do like Tyler Booker. Is he worth a second-round pick at the guard position, a 66 grade? And if you look, grade by each game, he only had 2 really good games. Everyone else was pretty mediocre in my opinion. But you look at a guy like Trey Amos, 85 overall grade. We're bringing the Ole Miss boys to San Francisco, kind of like what the Eagles have been doing over the years with Georgia, right? Coverage grade 85.6, solid man coverage at 75.4, can stop the run as well. That's huge in today's NFL, guys. 6'1", 190 pounds. He's got really good size. Trey Amos, the cornerback, goes to the 49ers in the second round. Now, we have 2 third-round picks, guys. All right, where do we go from here? We're looking at the board. Cam Williams is on the board. He definitely underachieved this year for me. He's just an average offensive lineman. I don't necessarily love that pick. For me, I think going defensive heavy early in this draft is not a bad idea. Kevin Winston Jr. from Penn State is on the board. But to me, I want to bring in some offensive line help. I want some offensive line juice, guys. Offensive tackle, interior offensive line. Cam Williams, I think Jonas Sevenanea is way better of a prospect, in my opinion, than Cam Williams. Obviously, Cam Williams played a little bit better of programs, but he wasn't productive, in my opinion. I also like Charles Grant from William and Mary, a small school guy, but very impressive, 90 overall grade this year. He can run block, he can pass block. 6'4", 300 pounds, solid size. Jonah is at 6'5", 336. Definitely more of a tackle prospect for sure. Grant's probably going to get moved inside. The gap grade I don't necessarily love. The run block grade, not great either, right? And the 49ers really want to run the football, right? So I think Charles Grant, I'm taking a flyer on him. I like this pick. I don't think he's going to last much longer. I don't think these offensive linemen, I think Sevenanea will be gone as well. 3-year starter at left tackle, gave up 3 sacks and, over his college career, coming in around 1,200 snaps. Pretty impressive stuff. I like his gap grade. The zone grade is great. I think Charles Grant is going to be my guy. He can kick in the guard, play a little bit of tackle, kind of be that swing guy in his first year, especially in the third round, guys. All right, now we're picking again in the third round, pick 99 overall, right? We take a look at the board here. We got an interior defensive lineman. We got a cornerback. We got an offensive lineman. Devin Neal, the running back from Kansas. A lot of pundits really, really like him, man. 1,200 yards, almost 6 yards per carry. Listen, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but I wouldn't be surprised if we never see the Christian McCaffrey of 2 years ago ever again. Having tendonitis in both Achilles, he just wasn't the same guy last year. Maybe in a timeshare, he'll be a little bit better. But Devin Neal, very interesting prospect at that spot. Mello Dotson, the cornerback from the Jayhawks from Kansas, definitely a guy I like as well. bringing in an edge defender. I like Kobe Bryant, the prospect as well. We're picking at pick 99 and 111. I'm hoping one of those cornerbacks are still available. I want to check out edge here, man. I want to add some edge help in this draft in the third round. David Walker, Sorrell Jones, Hassan, and Powell Ryland are the best graded guys on the board right now. David Walker, absolute beast mode, man. 94 pass rush grade. I know he went to Central Arkansas, didn't necessarily play these gigantic programs, but 6'2", 260, he's very small, very undersized, right? Baron Sorrell from Texas definitely played bigger and better competition, but he was washed by Georgia and Ohio State. Complete non-factor in the most important games of the year. I don't love that. Savion Jones from LSU, pretty decent player. Pass rush win rate over 15%. I like that. When we're drafting late in the third round, superstars aren't really going to be there. I like his size a lot better than Walker. Hassan Nian from Boise State. Very, very impressive. 10 sacks, 17 hits, 35 hurries. Very productive. And he had big games against big programs like Penn State, right? 6'3", 271. A lot bigger size than Harrell. I like Ahmad. I'm going to take a flyer on him in the late third round. We need that pass rusher, guys. Now we're picking up round 4, pick 111, right? Here we go. Once we're in the fourth round, we just want to add some depth, right? If we take a look at the needs for the San Francisco 49ers coming in the fourth round, guard, tackle, D-line. We addressed the tackle position. Guards, I don't really see, but I want to add some. There's some cornerbacks. Ooh, Jalen Knoll. I do like him from Iowa State, the wide receiver. 5'11", 200 pounds. Adding him is very interesting as well. Jamari Caldwell from Oregon. Another really solid defensive lineman, man. Just add some depth to that room. He's too good to pass up. I'm picking him. I'm picking him now. Pick 137 in the fourth round for our San Francisco. Damian Martinez from Miami was very, very impressive this year. And I know, like I said earlier, Christian McCaffrey, I think his career is over. We need another running back. Damian Martinez, late in the fourth round, comes to the San Francisco 49ers. We're picking again in the fourth round, pick 38. Where do we go from here? Wide receiver is really interesting. Cornerback is interesting to me as well. Here are our draft picks so far. We went D-line, cornerback, offensive tackle, edge defender, another D lineman, we got ourselves a running back. Cornerback and wide receiver is very interesting to me at this point in the draft. Pat Bryant from Illinois, Kobe Hudson from UCF, Huzzy from North Carolina, and Quincy Riley are the best guys left on the board. Nick Nash from San Jose State. Keep him in the Bay Area. Very interesting pick as well. 6'3", 195. Ooh, Nick Nash, really, really talented guy. Pat Bryant, he was exceptional this year as well. 18.2 yards per reception, guys. That's extremely impressive. 6'3", 200 pounds. Can really take the top off a defense, right? Kobe Hudson, just not quite as impressive. Pat Bryant, man. Wow, what a year he had. Receiving grade 86. That drop rate under 2%. This is a steal at this point in the draft, late in the fourth round, a compensatory pick. All right, now we got a 6th round pick, 3 7th round picks, guys. Now, depth is a huge part of where we're at right now. Alik Arnold, the safety from USC, definitely makes some sense to me. Jake Majors, the center from Texas, pretty solid draft pick. Jay Higgins, the linebacker from Iowa, man. At this point in the draft, I want to add depth. Dre Greenlaw is not going to be back. Obviously Fred Warner is in the middle of this defense, but he needs some help as well. Jay Higgins in the 6th round. He's just too good to pass up. We need to add great players to our team. We're going to add great players. Now, we're picking in the 7th round, guys. Most of these guys aren't even going to make the roster, so we want to see if we can find some diamonds in the rough. Malachi Moore from Alabama on the board in the 7th round. 89.4 coverage grade. The safety play was not great for the 49ers this year. Forced incompletion rate over 20%. Extremely, extremely impressive, guys. Missed tackle rate under 10%. I always like to see that. This is even coming in under 7%. Malachi Moore is the guy at 227. Now, picking 3 picks later. We got a wide receiver. We got a running back, D lineman, edge defenders. We're adding some really, really solid players to this roster, guys. Ethan Downs from Oklahoma, a great edge defender. I scouted him earlier in this draft process. I think he could be a potential steal late in this draft. 6'4", 265. These edge rushers are definitely getting leaner and leaner as time goes on. Drafting a quarterback with one of these 7th round picks, not a horrible idea. Graham Mertz, the quarterback from Florida. Interesting. Interesting, I'll say that. Okay, so I'm scanning the depth here, right? Joshua Gray from Oregon State. Adding some guard help. I don't hate that as well. Johnny Walker, edge defender. He's got pretty good grades, especially this late in the 7th round, guys. Pretty solid player. You know, I'm looking around. Zachary Franklin, Marcus Ware from Montana State. We need guard help, right? And this guy was an exceptional guard at a smaller school, Montana State. But 93 grade in 2023, 87.8 grade. This is a great pick in the 7th round, guys. He played all over the offensive line. Very, very solid pick. And now, with our final pick in the 7th round, guys, we just want to see, is there anybody flying under the radar? Mac McWilliams. We need cornerbacks, right? Man coverage grade over 70 from UCF. Had some good games and had some not so good games. But he flashed, right? And that's what you need late in the 7th round. 5'10", 185. Could play the slot for us at the San Francisco 49ers. I love that pick here, guys. I'm very, very happy with this grade for me. B grade given from PFF. Walter Nolan, B+. Trey Amos, we got an A. Charles Grant, B. Edge defender, Ahmad, C-. Jamari Caldwell, interior defensive lineman, an A grade. Whenever you can get A's and B's in the first 4 rounds, we needed a wide receiver. Pat Bryant's extremely impressive, right? Jay Higgins, the linebacker. And then we crushed the end of the draft with Malachi Moore, Marcus Ware, and Mac McWilliams, right? Getting B grades in the 7th round. Very, very impressive. We got offensive linemen. We got a lot of D-line help. We got some skill position players in Damian Martinez and our wide receiver, Pat Bryant, in the 4th round. I like this draft. Let me know, 49ers fan, do you guys like this draft? That's what's really important. It'll be a very interesting year for the 49ers. See if they can bounce back from a very mediocre year in 2024. I think they do. I hope Christian McCaffrey comes back healthy, but I am doubtful about that. If you like my content, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. Thank you guys so much for tuning into the JAYY All Day Sports Show. Peace!